When Cheslin Kolbe went to Japan, everything changed, and what he learned there few people really know. Cheslin Kolbe's name carries weight far beyond South Africa. In Cape Town, Toulouse, Tokyo, and everywhere in between, people know him as the winger who can tilt a game in an instant. But while the world talks about his iconic tries and electric steps, there's a chapter of his story that almost no one is digging into. His journey in Japan. This isn't just about a contract or a payday. It's about how Kolbe, one of the most feared backs in rugby, found something different in the land of the rising sun: respect, balance, and yes, maybe even the secret to extending his career at the very top. But how did this move happen, and why might it be the smartest decision of his career? To understand that, we need to rewind to the end of his time in France. Kolbe had been playing at the highest level in Europe with Toulouse and Toulon. He had silverware. He had respect. He had nothing left to prove. And yet, behind the scenes, the grind of the European season was relentless. Endless fixtures, pressure week after week, little time to breathe, let alone enjoy life with his wife and children. Then came the offer from Japan. The Toshiba Brave Lupus, a Tokyo-based club, wanted him. And they weren't just buying a name. They were offering him something far more valuable, a chance to reset. For many, the Japanese league looks like a semi-retirement, but Kolbe didn't see it that way. He saw opportunity. Japan's rugby environment is different. The seasons are structured with fewer games. The training is intense, but designed to maximize speed and technical skills rather than grind players into the ground. And above all, the culture places enormous respect on discipline and humility. For a man who had spent his whole career fighting against the perception that he was too small, the respect he felt in Japan meant everything. Kolbe has spoken openly about this. He said life in Japan gave him space to breathe, space to be more than just a rugby player. He found a country that valued family life, where his children could grow up safe and surrounded by tradition. While he continued playing at the highest level, he found joy, and that joy started changing the way he played. But here's the part nobody talks about. Japan didn't slow Kolbe down. It made him faster. The league emphasizes explosive movement and speed training. Analysts who track performance noted that Kolbe's agility drills, sprint bursts, and conditioning sessions in Japan were on another level compared to many European setups. It was the perfect environment for a man whose game depends on acceleration and agility. So while some thought he was taking a step back, Kolbe may have been setting himself up for his next evolution. Smarter, fitter, more balanced version of the player the world thought they already knew. And the real twist, what Kolbe picked up in Japan could end up being the secret weapon South Africa leans on for years to come. But before we get there, we have to look at exactly what he learned inside those Japanese training grounds and why it matters more than anyone realizes. What happened next would surprise even his biggest supporters. When Cheslin Kolbe arrived in Japan, the first thing that struck him wasn't the stadiums, or the contract figures, or even the fact that some of the biggest names in world rugby were now scattered across the country. It was the discipline. Everything ran on time. Sessions were organized to the minute. Kolbe himself said he felt humbled by how Japanese rugby approaches preparation. Players bow to fans, to teammates, even to the pitch itself before a match. That sense of respect for the game is drilled into every session. For a man who grew up fighting stereotypes and pushing against doubters, that kind of respect was more than a cultural adjustment. It was a reminder that he was valued for who he was, not just what he produced on the scoreboard. And then came the training. In France, the physicality of rugby is king. Big hits, grinding contact sessions, and brutal winters. In Japan, the picture shifts. The focus is on speed, conditioning, and quick handling. Every drill is about precision. Every sprint is measured. Coaches obsess over acceleration times and reaction drills, sharpening players into weapons of speed. Conditioning staff pushed him through resistance band sprints, agility ladders, and reaction time drills that looked closer to Olympic track training than traditional rugby prep. Analysts who observed his progress in Tokyo noted that his short distance burst actually improved during his time with Toshiba. It wasn't just the physical side. The Japanese game style suited him perfectly. Their league favors a fast, high-tempo approach, often moving the ball wide instead of endless forward collisions. That style meant Kolbe saw more space, more opportunities to back himself, and more freedom to try the unorthodox moves that make him so dangerous. Then there's the mental side. Kolbe has always been known for composure under pressure, but Japan gave him something deeper. Life outside rugby slowed down. Tokyo might be one of the busiest cities in the world, but the order and respect built into Japanese society created a sense of calm for Kolbe. He could leave training, step into his family life, and fully disconnect. In France, media pressure followed him everywhere. In South Africa, expectation is constant. In Japan, he could breathe. And make no mistake, that kind of balance matters. Sports psychologists point out that recovery isn't just physical, it's mental. When a player feels settled and supported off the field, performance on the field rises. Kolbe's happiness in Japan wasn't a luxury, but the biggest revelation. The Japanese approach gave him perspective. He realized that rugby, as much as it defines him, doesn't have to consume him. That freedom, that shift in mindset might be exactly why he still looks dangerous every time he touches the ball. So here's the real question. If Japan helped Kolbe recharge, sharpen, and evolve, what will that mean when he next pulls on the green and gold? The answer could shake up the next Rugby World Cup. And that's where this story takes a turn no one saw coming. Back home, South Africa has never been short of powerhouse wingers. From Brian Habana racing down the touchline to Makazal Mapimpi rewriting history books, the Springbok jersey demands physicality, speed, and the ability to handle pressure when the whole world is watching. For years, skeptics doubted if Cheslin Kolbe belonged in that same category. Japan may have given him the final answer. By stepping away from the European grind and into a league that emphasized pace, technical execution, and balance, Kolbe not only extended his career, he evolved his game. Ask any coach in Japan's League One, and they'll tell you, the smaller margins matter more. Split-second acceleration, angles of running, timing a support line to perfection. Kolbe's already elite toolkit was sharpened further in an environment where those details decide games. Analysts who tracked his output in Japan saw improved acceleration metrics and a steadier injury profile. In plain terms, he got faster, smarter, and more resilient. This matters for South Africa. Rassie Erasmus and his staff know that World Cup cycles aren't about peaking once and fading, they're about longevity. Kolbe at 30+ with fresh legs and a stronger mental balance is arguably more dangerous than the Kolbe of 20. He doesn't just have pace now, he has the patience to use it. And then there's the versatility card. While Europe framed his Japan move as semi-retirement, South Africans saw it differently. They recognized a man choosing to refine himself away from constant scrutiny, so that when the moment comes, he delivers at full throttle. There's also the human side. Kolbe himself has spoken about how Japan gave him quality time with his family, less travel grind, more stability, his kids settled, his wife felt at home, and he had space to enjoy life off the pitch. That personal contentment shows on the field. A happy player doesn't hesitate. He backs himself. He plays with freedom. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. Has Japan secretly given South Africa the ultimate advantage? A Kolbe who is not only as quick as ever, but mentally sharper, more versatile, and more balanced than before. World Cups are won not just by power or tactics, but by players who can break a game wide open in a single moment. Kolbe has already proven he can do it. But if Japan has indeed added another layer to his game, then defenders worldwide are in trouble. What happens next could redefine how the rugby world sees not just Kolbe but the value of a Japan chapter in a player's career. And when the next World Cup lights up, the so-called too small winger might just be the biggest problem in rugby once again. Think about it. We may not have seen the best of Cheslin Kolbe yet,